Welcome to the Team Lawson channel. I'm Theresa.
I'm Mike.
And we're millennials and we're making it. Welcome back, guys. On our channel, we discuss all things that meet within the intersection of millennial marriage and special needs parenting.
We want to create a community that's both inclusive and encouraging.
So go ahead and hit that subscribe button and help us get to our goal of reaching 1,000 subscribers.
And also, don't forget to hit that like button.
Yeah.
Don't forget to hit the like button so that you can let the algorithm know that you think we are awesome.
So today we're going to talk about COVID and kids, and kind of discuss what we think about kids going back to school with or without COVID, vaccines, should they have to wear masks, things of that nature. So I think we come from a different perspective. Our kid has been in school in person year round. Since the beginning of this school year, really since last summer. Last summer she went to summer camp and did therapy in person. She is 7, will be 8 soon, and so vaccines aren't available to kids her age. No children in her school have been vaccinated. So we were really dependent on the policies that protected the adults to protect the kids. And so there's not, the school is not under mandatory vaccinations. Louisiana has not declared mandatory vaccinations for anyone, I don't think. I think hospitals have declared mandatory vaccinations for their staff, but other than that, there's no mandate saying you have to get a vaccine. And up until recently, in this last phase shift, all of the staffers at Macy's school wore masks. Now, masks are optional. I don't like it personally. We just came off another COVID quarantine. Macy was in contact with a staffer that had COVID. I mean, it's going to happen, and that's kind of part of what we're going to talk about today. So, did you hear about what the Catholic Diocese in Baton Rouge did this week?
Nope.
So,
I've been working.
Catholic schools are interesting. In Louisiana, it's a pretty big deal. But in the Baton Rouge Catholic Diocese, it stated that all kids in Catholic schools were going to have to wear masks coming back to school. And because we are in a red state, all of the donors to the Catholic Diocese were in an uproar. They basically said, we're not going to give you any money if you mandate that kids have to wear masks to school. And so the Baton Rouge Catholic Diocese did a 380 shift. 360. No, 360? That's 180 shift in like 48, 72 hours. And said that no kids had to wear masks, vaccinated or not. Which, is a lot.
Mm-hmm.
It leaves the protection of kids really up to parents. I think if kids are not vaccinated, they should wear masks if they are able to. And that's a catch-22 because some of the kids at Macy's school can wear masks. That's something that Macy is not going to do all day. I think she would do it for a little while, especially with these little kids, I think with the bigger kids, it's not an issue. They're old enough to wear a mask if they are able to do so, then they should. What do you think?
I know I'm still wearing one, so
the facts. We still wear masks.
I mean, even though I've been vaccinated,
But we have a kid in the house who hasn't been vaccinated, who can be vaccinated, who does not wear a mask at school, and is around kids who also do not wear masks. So I think it makes sense for us to wear a mask whenever possible to protect her and in turn protect all the people that are going to be around her. I don't think that's excessive. I think that's just par for the course.
Yeah, I just wear a mask too because I don't feel like dealing with that. So I don't feel like dealing. I hate being sick. So I'm wearing a mask anyway. I mean, even if I've been vaccinated, I still recommend wearing them because you don't know where people done been or what they done had, and they probably not gonna tell you most likely. So
I think you kind of do know. Cases are on the rise, so if people are going
yeah,
out in public,
but
you're going to be around somebody who
well,
has been either exposed or is actively carrying COVID. Like the idea that somehow as a person you are impervious to contact with COVID, I guess it's just beyond me.
well, no, I know people who.
And it could be because we've been on 3 COVID quarantines in the past year. Might just be me being traumatized. I don't know.
I know people who actually had COVID, but they thought it was flu-like symptoms. So I mean, that's why I say you really don't know until you go to that. Now, some people that I know, other people who know, are like, okay, I lost my taste. I know what that is. You know what I'm saying?
And when the last time we were exposed to COVID, me and Macy were already sick. She was exposed at school like 2 weeks into her sickness. So we're pretty sure she didn't have COVID, and she was tested for strep. I got tested just as a precaution. I was negative for COVID. I didn't have COVID, but because COVID symptoms can be absolutely anything. It could just be one symptom. You could have a litany of symptoms. Not everybody, like you said, not everybody loses their taste and smell. And I guess the idea that not wearing a mask, or kids not wearing a mask to school if they're able to, or getting vaccinated if they're able to, the idea that it is going to make anybody's lives less difficult. Because this is how I foresee the school year going for most people. So far, we have had to COVID for quarantine every semester. Once in the fall, once in the spring, and once in the summertime. So for most people, your child will probably come in contact with somebody who has COVID once or twice in the school year, right?
Possibly.
Depending on the precautions of your school, they may or may not have to stay home 10 days. I know all doctors are saying if you had exposure to someone who's exposed to who has tested positive for COVID, you stay home for 10 days. That is the base recommendation for any doctor, symptoms or not. And so if that's what doctors recommending, I'm sure schools will recommend something in between them. Maybe if you have symptoms or you have to get tested or all of that is inconvenient. Like, even if you never get COVID, just being exposed to someone, or the idea that it's really inconvenient. Like, it makes work. It makes schoolwork for kids. It makes grocery shopping and getting medications. It makes everything more difficult. And I just want it to be easier. I want it to be as easy as possible this next school year. And so
I'm just ready for the junk to be gone.
and I don't think that's because our vaccination rate in Louisiana is so low. It's less than 40% of people having at least one vaccine. It's around 35% of people having 2. Herd immunity needs to be literally twice that. And with the Delta variant being passed around so readily with vaccinated and unvaccinated populations, it doesn't look like we're ever going to get herd immunity with the vaccines that we have. And so even if something happened in the midst of this red state and the politicization of a health issue, everybody goes get vaccines. If we get to 100%, we still may not be able to get herd immunity. Well, we'll never be 100% because some people can't get vaccinated. But we still would not be able to get to herd immunity. And so what that means is we're going to be dealing with COVID for at the very least this next school year. And I don't know if the teachers have to wear masks or not.
I don't know either.
I don't know if the teachers do.
It's probably optional.
It's probably optional for teachers. I think most listen, what I've heard from the teachers in the carpool line is this is the healthiest I've ever been in the school year. because they have the mask. Kids are so stinking germy, y'all. Like they just, oh, like this last cold or virus, whatever me Macy had, it wasn't strep, it wasn't COVID. Macy's doctor said it's probably just some crud. The doctor I went to, because my doctor was on vacation, was like, you're probably just having a hard time getting over whatever the virus was. It was miserable. It was 3 weeks for Macy, 2.5 weeks for me of just being sick. And so I don't.
And I only got a small piece of it, so I only had it for like 3 days.
I'm glad you feel special.
I don't. I don't like being sick. I'm glad it just came and went.
I don't see. Vaccines. I kind of get. Like, we are not there yet with kids. Them having the testing to know that it is safe for kids to get the same vaccines that we have. Probably won't be there to December. So, like, and then even if it starts in December, like, people getting vaccinated will take a few months. That vaccines for kids for this school year, it's really not going to be your best bet for 12 and under. Older kids can get vaccinated if they're healthy. But like, masks just seem like a no-brainer to me for the children who can wear them. I have a friend who has an autistic son who is 5. He's in kindergarten. He had to wear a mask to go to school. You know, they just went back in the past few months.
Who you talking about?
Houston.
Don't say their name.
Houston.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so,
that little boy 5?
it was,
That little boy 5?
He is 5 now.
Mm.
He is 5 now. That came quick, huh? I think he's 5. He just had a birthday. He's 5 now.
Okay.
Yeah, it was hard, you know, eventually. I mean, he's autistic. He's 5. It's hard for babies. It's hard for children with sensory issues. But he got it eventually. I feel like if Macy wears it really well in public, a school day is a whole nother thing. To have it on all day long is a whole nother thing. I think if she had to do it, she could. I think it would be a process. And I don't think it would be anything that would be traumatic for her. I don't think she would have a less enjoyable time throughout the school year because she had to wear a mask. So I don't get it. Do you get it? Is there a reason you can see for like the parents and the donors of the Baton Rouge diocese to be so up in arms about them mandating children having to wear masks?
You're asking like,
why is it such a big deal?
that kids have to.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you saying why is it a big deal? Like,
Mm-hmm.
the people mad because they making children wear masks? I think people just tired, you know, and I get it from that standpoint. People tired of having to wear masks. People tired of being locked up in the, you know, because man, people was locked up in the house for a long time.
Well, people wouldn't do what they were supposed to do for a long time.
I mean, yeah, but
that's part of the reason
I
why
mean,
we
of
had
course,
such a hard time.
but like I said, I kind of see it. You know, I'm not agreeing with them, but I see their standpoint. Man, people tired. People tired of doing this. People want to go back to normal life. You know what I'm saying? So, But they're not helping the situation.
No, what they're doing isn't helping us get to normal life, and I don't think normal life. I think there will be a new normal.
What, COVID-19? That's the new. That's what I'm asking.
Yeah, no, seriously. I think my doctor asked me if I went to get my yearly checkup today. The doctor asked me if I was vaccinated, and I said yes. She said, plan on having a booster shot next year. At the beginning of the year, and I said, yeah, I figured as much. I was telling my husband that I was waiting on them to have a combination flu shot and COVID vaccine. She's like, that is probably coming down the pipeline. And that's coming from my doctor. So like, if you're not the flu vaccination rate is better than the COVID vaccine rate, which makes no sense to me.
Let me see you take it first.
Huh?
Let me see you take it
it's
first.
It's the same thing that you get every year, the flu shot.
And I get that, Theresa, but you mixing two things.
They do it all the time. All your shots are mixed.
Oh, okay.
Like that's just how they do it. Like that's not a big deal. It doesn't change the shot itself. If anything, it may like the sore arm might be a little more sore.
We'll see.
But
they have werewolves and goblins.
No, like they do that. They do that. Like when you had to get that vaccine, you had to get a booster shot of.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
When Macy was a baby. And it had your arm hurting real bad.
Man, I ain't have to get that junk.
You did have to.
You made me get that.
No, you're an adult.
I don't want that.
And you, they started giving a booster shot for the whooping cough, the pertussis. So they made it a combination shot with diphtheria, tetanus, and pertussis. He hadn't had a tetanus shot in probably since he was a baby. And so that needed to be boosted. He never had a booster for whooping cough. I probably need to get another booster for whooping cough. And then if he hadn't had tetanus, he hadn't had diphtheria. And so it was just time for him to have a just because you don't like having vaccinations.
Hold on, let me see. Man, in 25 years, man, I ain't saying it can't happen. God forbid.
But that's
I ain't never had none of that junk in 25.
Well, here's the thing. The reason they started getting the booster, you could have very well had whooping cough, because I came into direct, when we were dating, the reason I got a booster is because I came in direct contact with a child in my school who had whooping cough. And it's fine, for you. It's annoying. You'd be coughing for months, like as an adult.
No.
As a healthy, literally. Like it's a really horrible thing.
But I never had nothing when I was coughing for months.
No. And you don't want to. That's why you got vaccinated. Yeah. But I'm just saying, like, the reason you get boosters is because the vaccine, like, they were having kids in middle school starting to get it again. And it's uncomfortable. Kids in middle school are probably more susceptible to hospitalizations, but it's deadly for babies. And a lot of the vaccines that we get as adults, it's just so we don't kill somebody's child. And I think that is what people lose sight of. It's not so much about, I won't die from whooping cough. Nobody's saying you're going to die from whooping cough. Nobody's saying you're going to die from COVID. But, like, there are certain people in the population, people who are immunocompromised from chemotherapy. I have a baby on our client list who has a heart issue. And so even though he's technically old enough to get the COVID vaccine right now, he may not be able to. And so he's just been in the house since all this stuff has been going on.
Is that safe to talk about?
Yeah, I'm not saying
all right. Okay, cool. I'm just making sure.
I'm not saying anything.
I want you to get arrested.
And nobody knows where I work, and I'm not going to tell them where I work.
All right. Okay, cool.
I don't even have
I'm just double checking. Social media.
But all of that stuff, like, it's not so much about, because honestly, I feel like if I got COVID, I'd be fine. I don't want to get COVID. I don't like being sick. Like, losing my taste of smell, I've only had that happen like once, maybe twice. Your sinuses get stopped up, and that's miserable to me. I'm sorry. And the idea that it could be long lasting, I could never get, that's enough for me to go get a COVID shot right there. And I get that for most people, it is not going to be an issue, but for kids, we are seeing, I think at the beginning they said that kids weren't as good as spreaders. Really what it was is we were doing a really good job of protecting our kids. We were keeping them in the house. We were social distancing to make sure we didn't spread it to them. And so we didn't have any real data. Now that the world is opening back up, they have the data. Kids get it. They get just as sick, and they're just as likely to get real sick and be hospitalized, and they're efficient spreaders of all germs. I don't know why anybody doubted that in the beginning. So, yeah. It'll be interesting to see what school systems do, and we'd love to hear what you think about what school systems should do. Keep it respectful. Keep it kind and courteous, because I have no problem blocking and deleting.
Well, I think I'm not a fan of the vaccine, but I think people should have it because, like you said, they got.
You're not a fan of vaccines in general, and that's fine. You don't have to like it.
You don't have to like it, but I'm saying it got people with situations at home, that where you might have a family member who's super sick, like.
Or who's going through chemotherapy.
And you can kill those people.
You can literally kill somebody.
And that's
crazy to me. That is absolutely crazy to me. You can literally kill somebody with something that feels like nothing but a cold to you. Or that you may never even have symptoms for.
And you ain't trying to kill them.
I know. Nobody wants to be a walking murderer with a cough, but that is just the reality. And even though for most vaccinated people, the risk is very low of having enough shed to be able to spread. Google it. I'm not explaining that. It's still possible. And so as long as there are a ton of unvaccinated people like there are, it gets more possible for even vaccinated people to spread it. So, I don't know. Vaccines and masks just seem like a no-brainer to me, even for the babies. I know that vaccines are probably a little bit longer down the pipeline for the the younger babies, but for the bigger kids, like teenagers need to be wearing masks at school. Y'all big kids, y'all be all right. Macy's teachers and therapists at her school wore masks all day for months before they were able to get vaccinated, and even a while after they were actually get vaccinated, because that was just the phase that we were in Louisiana. But I mean, ain't that big a deal. I just don't think it is. Comment down below what you think. We'd love to hear from you. Like and share this video if you want to irritate the people on your social media. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And we will see you in the next video.
Well, God bless you.